Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Purpose by Branden Jacobs-Jenkins. He had a play last season on Broadway called Appropriate. Started at the Helen Hayes Theater, and it was so successful and so well received that it then moved to the Belasco Theater. This play had its premiere at Steppenwolf Theater, and Phylicia Rashad is the director, and she's brought most of the same cast. There's been a couple of replacements for Broadway. Two of the replacements are Cara Young, who I think won the Tony for Pearly Victorious last year or a couple seasons ago, and also LaTanya Richardson Jackson rounds out the cast as the mother. So first of all, Appropriate was amazing. It was probably in my top 5 things I saw on Broadway for that season. And Branden Jacobs-Jenkins is a great playwright. He excels at writing family dramas with lots of comedy. He's very funny. And watching this play, I just was thinking, damn, this guy knows how to write this kind of play, where each of the family members has their own character and their own demon, and then they all come together and there's an explosive dinner scene. And yeah, and it was 3 hours, but it flew by. So was I bored? Was I confused? I was never bored during this play. 3 hours of theater, and there's an intermission, but never bored. These actors are fantastic. I think Phylicia Rashad, the direction as far as moving the bodies around the space feels like what it needs to be. She's not breaking the wheel. She's not breaking the wheel. That's not the. She's not breaking the wheel. She's not reinventing the wheel. But I think what she has excelled in is really bringing the comedic moments out, which I think makes sense too with her time that she spent doing sitcoms, that she really knows how to bring some of the humor out in a script. All the actors are fantastic, but especially Cara Young. She's so funny. She's so funny. And actually, it's the two replacements. I mean, they're all great, but also LaTanya Richardson Jackson is also really, really great in this as well. I think those are my two standouts, but everyone's fantastic in this. So what is Purpose about? Purpose is about a well-to-do Black family living in Chicago who has recently, one of their sons is returning from prison. He was a politician and he got caught embezzling some money, and he's been away to prison for 2 years and he's just come back. But that's not the only skeleton in this family's closet. So this play really examines the steps we go to keep up an appearance and protect our families, and how protecting your family is actually harming your family. There's also lots of ideas about the younger generation and the older generation, the spectrum of sexuality, how Black people are oppressed now as they were in the past, the fragility of fame and being an upstanding figure in a community. These are some of the many themes that are examined in this play. There is a lot going on in this play, and it may feel at times that the themes and the ideas are wandering around, but Branden Jacobs-Jenkins knows what he's doing, and he brings everything together satisfactory at the end of the play. The first act really moves along at quite a clip. Now, this play came from Steppenwolf, but yet I felt in the second act that it was not as well rehearsed as the first act. I don't know if that's because the second act tends to go a little bit crazier with the revelations and where the plot goes. It gets a little out there. It's still believable, but sometimes the characters maybe act in a way that is a little surprising, that maybe I didn't quite see. You know, our main character, who's the narrator of the show, and I found it interesting, seeing Appropriate didn't use a narrator, but he opted for a narrator in this, played by John Michael Hill, who's wonderful. But we learn as the play goes that he's neurodivergent, that he's somewhere on the spectrum. And I didn't really get that, especially when someone is narrating a play to us. They're our confidant. We really kind of just accept them as they are, and I didn't really feel that he was on the spectrum. So that was a little surprise when that revealed. Not confusing, but a little bit like, oh, okay, we're going there. I loved this play. These are little nitpicks, mainly because Appropriate was so amazing. Appropriate had a certain inevitability when we meet these characters and where they end up at the end of the play. When we finally get there, it just kind of felt inevitable that they would end there, and it felt very streamlined. This play gets a little more out there, and the way it resolves itself although satisfactory, has less of an inevitability to it. It feels like the playwright could have gone in many different directions when he wrapped this thing up. But this play is fantastic. It's really, really funny. It's very dramatic. It's very surprising. If you're interested in playwriting, he's really good. I'm jealous at how great he is at the form of writing these family dramas. So, tickets. So let me give you a word for the wise. So here's what happened. I bought a ticket on the Theater Development Fund for Wednesday matinee, and the show got canceled on Wednesday. And I was like, it's opening, I got to do my review. So I went on Today Tix and I bought one of their lottery. I did their lottery tickets, which was for Saturday matinee. Just came from the show. So here's what you need to know about buying discount tickets. If you buy a Theater Development Fund ticket, or if you get a rush ticket, the box office will try to put you in a good seat because they decide when you pick up your ticket what's available, and they'll try to put you in the best seat. Whereas if you buy your ticket on the Today Tix lottery, those tickets have already been determined, and they are the partial view seats. So I was annoyed because I had a TDF ticket, but it got canceled and I couldn't get another TDF. They weren't selling any for the rest of the week. So I opted to do the lottery on Today Tix. And so I would say on the left side of the theater, the four seats furthest to the left in the orchestra are all obscured view. And I was the second seat over from the left. And when they do this long dinner scene, they're all seated around a table, so they're pretty stationary. I had to like lean way over. And anytime the people at the dinner table leaned back in their chairs, there were two of them, I couldn't see them. So what I'm trying to say is this really is, if you get an obscure ticket, there's a long scene at the dinner table that you will not be able to see everyone in the family if you get those tickets. So I would opt for the rush ticket or the TDF ticket over that. I also would recommend sitting in the mezzanine for this show, because the problem with dinner scenes is people are sitting down, and even if your seat isn't obscured view, the angle that you're looking, someone's chair or someone's head might be in the way of another person's head. Whereas if you're in the mezzanine, you're looking down and you can see everyone. So that's my recommendation for this play. I think you'll be able to get discount tickets though for about $45. So if you love theater, if you love plays, if you love a funny, dramatic family drama that speaks not just to the Black experience, but to people's experiences in general. And if you're a fan, if you're a fan of Jesse Jackson and his family, who I think this play might have been inspired by, go check out Purpose, playing at the Helen Hayes Theater on Broadway.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do,